Well, the weekend has started just well for me. So today is September 24th. I yet to see the Stardom recent 5-star Grand Prix days. As you know, I want to see them so I can review them for all of you. But it won't happen. But however, that doesn't mean I cannot review what I could do. Right now, we're just going to do two at the moment, which is ChocoPro 256, which is one of the two last shows involving Yuna Mizumori before she leaves to do other things in the wrestling business. And also we got the NWA USA, where we feature a #1 contendership for the the junior heavyweight title in a scramble match. And of course the NWA the United States tag team titles will be defended for the first time ever, and many other things that we're going to be talking about. And of course, we cannot forget what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling on our news updates. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with ChocoPro 257. My bad, I made a mistake of the numbering. So this is 257, just to reiterate everyone what's been going on. So I believe I made a mistake. So anyway, it opened up with Mei Suruga and Balinaki, of course. As you know, they're still dealing with the typhoon going on down in Japan. They even mentioned that they had to move some things around in order to avoid the typhoon. But however, they did mention that this will be one of two events left for Yuna Mizumori before her big show taking place at Shinkiba First Ring for God to Move. And I think this is going to be interesting. So let's get to it. Our first match, we have Shonchiru versus Emi Sakura. Now, I cannot recall ever seeing these two ever face off one-on-one, but if they have, then I must have been late. But I have to say it was a pretty good match. Of course, Shonchiru tried to be slick than he's always, but of course, Emi, who is Sakura, who is more of the aggressor type, you can tell that's how it is. But she was able to use the wall that's right close to the glass right there, where they have like some of the bouquets right there, in her advantage in order to roll up Shonchiru to pick up the win, which is very impressive. Next match, we have Sayaka Obihiro taking on Balin Aki. Now, Balin Aki is familiarized with Sayaka many times over. Not to mention, he says that he has two typhoons in his way. One is, of course, that it's outside that he knows he can't deal with it. And then there's the one right there, which is Sayaka Obihiro. But I thought it was pretty good, but it did show, that no matter what, he was able to overcome nothing else. But he did pin Sayaka Obihiro in a somewhat of a version of a roll-up, but gave him the W. Now, our main event, this one was a rather interesting one. We have Chiko Shikawa teaming up with her fellow fourth-generation mate, Sayaka, to take on Mei Suruga and Yuna Mizumori. Now, I cannot recall the last time these two team up, or they have ever teamed up before. I know recently in that amazing match that they had at Phoenix Rises a couple of days ago, back then, it was like amazing. And now they get to team up, and I think that kind of shows us how this is gonna play out in a way. Now, you got the speedster in the team, like Mei Suruga. You got the powerhouse, the Yuna Mizumori. So it's a good combination to have. But I know we've seen improvements not only in Chiko Shikawa, but we've seen that with Sayaka Obihiro many times. But however, it was, of course, Sayaka who ended up on the wrong side of some sort of like a kind of a Michinoku driver type, and giving her the win. So it was a good win. Now, as for a Jonkin tournament, apparently, Meishuga was out running the first round. Balin was out, so was Yuna. Who else? Emi, Sean, but surprise, surprise, it was Sayaka who walked out as, of course, the winner. Now, keep in mind, after this event, they announced that, of course, we had the following event, 258, the last ChocoPro event with Yuna Mizumori, so you guys don't want to miss that. And I know I'm going to watch that completely. And then, of course, we cannot forget, soon we will have the Tropical Wild event. I can't wait to see it. They already announced 3 matches taking place. We don't know for sure if there will be more. The last time they did announce for 6 matches in their Choco Got to Move event, so we'll find out soon enough. I think that's pretty much it. So let's move on with NWA USA. Okay, NWA USA. Now, as you know, we have crowned our very first ever NWA United States Tag Team Champions, which is the fixture, Jay Bradley and Wrecking Ball Legursky. Now, the obvious question is, who will be the lucky competitors that challenge for these titles? Well, it was announced, it was Gold Rush decided to declared themselves as #1 contenders, and they did, so they challenged them. But however, Candy's, as you know, the Austin Mania Sports Management Group, they have been trying to get gold. As you know, we have Tyrus as the current World Television Champion, and of course Zion as the current NWA National Champion. So this was going to be interesting to turn out. Now, I was afraid that Marshe Rocket was going to use the Rocket Kick into the match, but however, he ended up on the wrong side of a big powerbomb by both Legursky and Bradley. 1, 2, 3 to retain the title, so they still the NWA United States Championships. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if these titles will mostly be strictly defended on NWA USA. Now, Joe Galli set up an interview earlier in the day where he talked to Tyrus. Now, Joe Galli wasn't going to talk about his loss towards towards Trevor Murdoch, but the obvious question that always has been remained ever since then, that what's the next logical step? The logical step is, if you guys know this or not, if the NWA World Television title is a very interesting title to have. The idea is that you only have 6 minutes and 5 seconds in the match to finish. However, if you defended that title 7 times in a row, then that means you get an you can cash it in and hand it over to become the next #1 contender for the NWA World Heavyweight title. However, Tyrus has already surpassed that. He defended that title even once he reached it. But his plan was to obtain both titles on his shoulder, which is the NWA US, the NWA World Television title, and the NWA World Heavyweight title. But however, because he fell short at NWA 74, the indication was he was going to cash in the World Television title to have this opportunity. However, that did not happen. He kind of felt like he did not want to do this, but he has no other choice. So he decided, as soon as this interview was over, according to Kyle Davis during a breaking news, that he bumped into William Patrick Corgan, said he was cashing in. So it turned out, for Hard Times, there's going to be a 3-way for the NWA World Heavyweight title between not only the champion Trevor Murdoch, but also Matt Cardona, but also Tyrus. Now, we still haven't heard what are the thoughts with Trevor Murdoch. Now, I know for sure Trevor Murdoch doesn't mind, but Matt Cardona, he probably will mind, because he feels like someone is trying to cut in line for him to take what he believes is his. So that kind of plays out a good factor. So we could see something very interesting on that development, but we will see what happens then. Now, as regarding of the NWA World Television title, Mr. Corgan announced that he's going to have a tournament, but Tyrus will hold on to that title until hard times until a new champion is crowned. So Tyrus will be, well, I don't know how he feels about it, but hand over the title to the winner of that tournament. Now our next match is the national title tournament semifinals. We have Judias along with Father James Mitchell take on Thrill Billy Cyrus along with Boyle Damar. I thought this match was pretty interesting because Thrill Billy, we thought that maybe he was just a clown, you know, because he's hanging out with Boyle Damar. But unfortunately, he was able to win the match when he applied the throw right onto Judias, winning the semifinals. So he will be facing Chris Adonis, and I forgot who else is going to be in it, in order to win the match. Now, Mae Valentine said herself in the interview with Anthony Mayweather, so he announced that he's going to be he put his name out there to be as a potential competitor for the tournament in the NWA World Television title. But of course, Chris Silvio, the little sneaky little attorney for Jack Stain, he decided to say that Jack Stain is already in it, and he thinks that Anthony Mayweather has no place in it because he doesn't have any merit. But if he does get in, I wouldn't be surprised if those two will end up in the finals. But if Mayweather does get into the tournament, that's going to cause a little problem for Silvio. Now our main event is the NWA Jr Heavyweight #1 contendership for the title. In a scramble match, we have Joe Alonzo, Peter Avalon, Kerry Morton, PJ Hawks, Mike Bennett, and of course Kobe Carino. Now Peter Avalon has always been trying to show who he is and all this, so he kind of tried to show off his thingy. But of course, everything is out of scramble matches. You don't know what to expect. But I thought in the back of my head that somehow Kobe was going to win, but no, it was in fact Kerry Morton who applied a kisser right on Joe Alonzo in order to win the match. So he is the new #1 contender. However, this is not the first time that he faced Homicide, so we will see what happens then at Hard Times. So I think that's pretty much it with this. I believe it's time to move on to our final thing, which is going to be news updates. Okay, welcome to our news updates. So this is what we have for right now. It was announced on the GCW Twitter page for their upcoming event on October 4th for their time in Japan. For War Ready, that's going to happen. It was announced that the DDT Extreme Championship will be on the line. So Joey Janela is going to put the title on the line against Toshiyuki Sakuda. Now, as you know, this title can be defended anyways, as long as it's sanctioned by DDT, so I'm going to assume they are okay with it. Now, I know they've invited many of Extreme wrestlers when they get a chance, but we'll see about that. Now, as you guys know, on the last episode I did mention that Hangman Page will probably challenge for the AEW World title on this Wednesday. However, it seems like there were some changes plans. It turns out it's not going to be a Hangman Adam Page. Apparently, it's going to be Bullet Club's very own Juice Robinson. Now, keep in mind, these two have met before. They fought for the IWGP United States title last time, and of course, I think that makes them qualified to that. Now, finally, as you guys may have heard, I mentioned this, that in October 16th, ICW No Holds Barred will be on its way. They'll be on their way to the Australia to be in a match between a promotion that involves death matches, DMDU, and Australia. And 4 matches have been announced. So here's what we have. We have Danny DeMonto taking on Joel Bateman. John Wayne Murdoch versus York. Eric Ryan versus Camby Crawford. And then finally a tag match. Cruel and Casey Kirk versus Mad Dog and Vixen. So this is going to be interesting to see 2 different promotions involving death matches in this event. So I'm kind of excited. I haven't seen a DMDU event yet, but hopefully I can get to see one. So I think that's pretty much it right now for our news update. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we got 2 more other reviews that I'll be doing. Is a little bit of shorter one. Involves, of course, the latest GCW event, Shooting Star, and of course, New Japan Strong with more on Fighting Spirit Unleashed, which I'm kind of excited to see. So we'll see what happens then. So for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.